Vikings fans, you are listening to the Purple People podcast. Hey, it may be the off season for Minnesota, but guess what? We don't take breaks here at the Purple People podcast. We are going year round. You guys can't get rid of us. I am Kyle West, accompanied by Adam Carlson.
Heyo.
The man with the plan, Kyle Smith.
I have one sometimes.
Occasionally, you can make it up.
Good times.
Mm-hmm.
This is episode number 187 of the Purple People podcast. This one is titled The Sparanos.
Oh, foreshadowing.
Fantastic title.
I've seen it a couple other times. I had it written down in here for a while, but it's one of those ones that's so obvious but so fitting that you still have to go with it.
Obvious choice is obvious for a reason.
It's true. It's true. So let's go right into the quick hits because we are going to be giving away some of our awards, our end of year awards.
I love this. I love
later
these.
on.
These are fun.
They are. They're a lot of fun. But we have a lot of quick hits to go through too because quite a
do.
bit's been going on.
Every year.
Yeah, I was really surprised at that, how many quick hits we had.
Yeah, we say this every year. We always wonder, are we going to have enough for a show? And then, sure enough, 18 quick hits later.
Oh yeah, there's always something to talk about with this team.
Mm-hmm.
Let's start with the offensive line coach where Jeff Davidson was let go. Honestly, not a big surprise considering the struggling through the offensive line, the lack of developing some of the draft picks, those kind of situations. So Jeff Davidson out. Vikings wasted no time bringing Tony Sparano in.
I like it. Another coach with a lot of experience on this roster. You look at, Mike Zimmer and Norv Turner, and there's just lots of experience, and that can only mean good things. And I'm not surprised that they parted ways with Jeff Davidson. He was kind of a holdover from the Leslie Frazier era, so no real sentimental value for Mike Zimmer to keep him around. Not that he's a sentimental guy to begin with, but I like the change. Let's get some more production out of the talented guys that I think we have on this line.
You know what this reminds me of? I watched it today. They did a special, and I'm sure we'll hit on it eventually if we talk about the rest of the NFL, but you know how the Patriots have just been dominating the last 15 years. Like, they're the elite dynasty in the NFL. A lot of those guys, if they even leave, which a lot of them don't want to, like their defensive coordinator could easily get a head coaching job, or their offensive coordinator. He got a head coaching job, came back. So what I see happening here in Minnesota is a mini New England. Norv Turner was the head coach. He did fairly well, but he's even better as an offensive coordinator. So Sparano has head coaching experience, so he's been to the top. He understands. But knowing that he's humble enough to take this offensive line position is pretty sweet. Mike Zimmer is Mike Zimmer. We understand that. And, I think we said this earlier in the year about players, but I think we're another coach away from building that core of leadership and management. Mm-hmm. We're just going to be a brick, house of talent, and then we're going to have that same effect in coaching. And I really, really like this hire. Really, really dig it.
Me too.
Absolutely. We've got some former player and coach news coming up here, so let's just go through all this stuff right now.
Okay.
Former Vikings guard David Yankee signed a futures contract with the Panthers.
A little
Not
surprising.
Really so much news, but
I'm a little surprised, a little bit.
What can you do there?
Yeah.
Former Vikings head coach Brad Childress is expected to be promoted to the new offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. Head coach Leslie Frazier has signed on with the Baltimore Ravens to be the team's new defensive backs coach. It kind of stinks to see him taking a bit of a demotion to stay in the league, but hopefully he's able to find a way to stay on there, make an impact, and help out a defense that really isn't that horrible in the secondary.
You can bring in Josh Robinson and Chris Cook and all those guys with him. They can really shore up that defense in Baltimore.
I thought we were going to be nice to Leslie, and you went there.
Well,
I tried.
We were, but
you know who Leslie Frazier is? To me, he is Lovie Smith. He's such a player's guy. I can't be mad at him. It does suck. I mean, you took the words right out of my mouth, Adam. It's just, I hate it because how many coaches can say they took the team to the playoffs and had a rusher almost set the rushing record, but man, did that ever fall apart?
So true. Former Minnesota Vikings owner Red McCombs wants to help the Oakland Raiders move the team to San Antonio.
We're sure he does, right?
And in other news, nobody cares, Red. Shut your mouth.
Pretty much.
He's already said he's got a ton of sponsors for a new stadium. He's got so many things all lined up, and I'm betting that that's because he was threatening so many times to move the Vikings if they wouldn't build a new stadium, and he had to have something set up. And of course, him being a San Antonio man, why wouldn't he want it in his own backyard?
Oh, I'm so glad that he sold the team. So glad.
Definitely interesting, that's for sure. The Minnesota Vikings have signed former Carolina Panthers and St. Louis Rams cornerback Melvin White to a reserve futures contract. He was placed on IR in Carolina, then went to the St. Louis practice squad.
I don't know.
Should we be saying LA practice squad now?
Yes, we should.
Yes, indeed, we should.
See, I made that note. You guys, I just want to say I contributed to the show for once in my entire life and put a quick hit in. I did that before St. Louis was officially announced, so I apologize. But that's going to take some getting used to, for sure. The Los Angeles Rams.
You know, I don't know if I could be more indifferent on that.
It doesn't really affect me either way, but
No.
I do kind of feel bad for the people in St. Louis, especially the town who is going to be paying for the now empty stadium until what we read at him 2021.
Yeah, they're on the hook for that.
They're on the hook for that. I mean, that's harsh. That sucks.
That is rough. That's a rough one. There is some good news though.
Oh.
Everson Griffin will replace J.J. Watt as a member of the Pro Bowl.
I'm happy to see Everson Griffin make it, even if it's a replacement. He's a very deserving guy. I think we all felt that there should have been more Vikings that were, got Pro Bowl or All-Pro honors. So it's nice to see Everson make it.
Oh, man. I really hate that he had to go on those terms, but I'm glad he went. Finally get a no-name that I can't believe I said no-name. Finally get a name that's not Adrian.
You're gonna get some heat for that one. Oh,
thank God. Let me correct myself before everybody sends me stuff on the Facebook page. I'm glad there's a name that's not just Adrian Peterson. Like, we all love Adrian. I get it, but that's such a Mike Zimmer thing. Like we said it last week. This is not going to make one star shine. Like, when you think of the Texans, you think of J.J. Watt because that's the only other person I really remember now besides Vince Wilfork going over. But
Pro Bowl is name recognition. I mean, not that J.J. Watt's clearly deserving in the honor, but it's a lot of it is just simple name recognition, and it's whatever.
I'm happy about it though because we know as Vikings fans, we know how much of a beast Everson is. He reminds me, no joke, of Jaron Allen in his prime. I love it. I love his motor, but nobody else. You say his name and they're like, who?
Who?
I'm glad.
He might be a nobody. It's weird.
We're glad to have you, and I did not call you a no-name Everson, so I'm glad I'm traveling. Don't come find me and beat me up. I'm a very big fan of yours.
I'm gonna send him this podcast now.
There you go.
You're gonna send him that one clip.
I'm gonna send him the one clip with your address and be like, "Look, you need to go track this guy down."
I have to tell all these fans that listen to this and be like, "Hey, you got to listen to the show. I've never said a bad thing about Everson Griffin, not one time." So
we'll send him all 187 episodes and be like, "Look, you need to listen."
You have a long off season.
Yeah.
You have a long off season. You need to do your homework. By the way, we want to interview you. Thanks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. All right, so Joe Berger was named Pro Football Focus's best run blocker of 2015. Joe Berger, of course, stood in for the injured John Sullivan this season.
Adam has a man crush.
Do you have a jersey yet for him, Adam?
I absolutely do not.
Why do you not have a Joe Berger jersey?
I have no problem admitting that I definitely do have a soft spot in my heart for Joe Berger.
Yeah,
That's all right. We love your man crush on this guy,
we do.
and I just thank God like I just said, another person not named Adrian Peterson gets some recognition. He's been a beast this year, which I can't believe I'm saying because Sully has been the core and the leader of the O line. I really hate that he went down, but man, it's like Billy Madison. Man, I'm glad we called that guy.
Good
So true.
reference. We don't quote Billy Madison enough on the show.
Well, there aren't enough penguins walking around, so
It's too damn hot for the
Kinda hard.
Penguins to be walking around here.
so it's mock draft season, guys.
Yay!
Some people
And
hate
right
those.
now-
I love them.
The big name surrounding Minnesota is 6'3" wide receiver out of TCU, Josh Doxson.
Sure, I'll take that.
Do it.
He's a bit thin right now for what people are saying. They want a bigger bodied wide receiver.
Does he have
but
skinny knees?
does he wear gloves?
The question is, did he only play 1 year of Division I football? 'Cause
Oh.
the last time we got a
Oh.
receiver, yeah, shots fired. I'll say your name. It might rhyme with Cordero Patterson. I don't know.
That's not rhyming. That's dude, you're a
I know.
songwriter.
That's
That
not
is
how
not
rhyming
rhyming.
Works.
No, I have to call him. We're gonna. Don't worry. He's gonna get some hate from me a little bit later in the episode. I have to do my homework on this guy.
He is a guy that could very well be there for the Vikings when they pick. If he can bulk up a little bit during the off season here, gain a little bit more muscle, put on a couple more pounds, he could find himself even outside of the Vikings range. So, be interesting to see how that works out. That's the sad part about doing mocks so early. There's so many things going on that can change the draft positioning of these guys, their evaluations, all that kind of stuff.
Trade Adrian Peterson.
Oh.
Oh no, you might want to get that cough checked out, buddy.
I'm sorry. I saw another second round pick, so we can double dip in the draft again. I must be seeing things, guys.
I feel a bold statement coming on.
Oh no. So, we all heard about Blair Walsh missing the field goal, I'm sure.
What?
I think Vikings fans might have heard something about that every now and then.
I didn't get 37 memes about that horrible game.
A former star of The Walking Dead may have gotten a couple jabs in on Fox Sports, and just
Shame on him.
kind of weird stuff. I said former star, but he's still on the show, of course.
Was that a Walking Dead spoiler?
No, actually, it's not. It's actually the opposite of a. Now it's a spoiler. Now that you guys know he lives. Oh,
Breaking
so now,
news
if
on the
you watch Walking
podcast.
Dead, I'm sorry. Yes, Aaron lives. At least for now. But it was weird because Blair Walsh was getting all this criticism, all these death threats, and just awful people telling him that they wanted him to break parts of his body and all this. Well, first grade students in Blaine, Minnesota, wrote him letters to help comfort him and help him understand that, hey, people make mistakes, and the school used it as a learning experience for the kids. Well, Blair Walsh got the letters and went and visited the kids, gave them autographs, took photos with him, and all that cool kind of stuff.
I seen this on our local news, and I have to say that those kids, the letters that they wrote, some of them were just so awesome. There were ones that didn't even have anything to do with football, just things like "I like puppies," and just like observations. Like, I mean, they're first graders. It was so cute and so awesome. But you really got to commend Blair for showing up and talking to him, and it was really good thing. Really neat. I like it.
If he turns it around, I'm not saying he's like about to get fired. I have to tell everybody that beforehand. You have to instill this in your brain. If we get rid of Blair, who's going to come in and do better? I'll wait, because there's not a lot of A+ kickers out there. If he turns it around, if he doesn't, get us knocked out of the playoffs and doesn't have a couple misses like he had, this could actually help him out because he's going to be a bounce back guy. And I don't know. I'm not. Obviously, we didn't want him to miss last week. We want to still be in the postseason, but you learn from stuff like that, and for him to go out and be a good sport about it says a lot about who he is as a man, anyways. So I really like that about him. I'd like to give him a shout out too. Like I couldn't imagine the week he's been having, but to go out and just move along and put it behind you, essentially, it's pretty good. I like it when guys can step up like that.
Is it weird that every time I read that news, I picture him sitting in front of a classroom like on Kindergarten Cop? Who is your daddy and what does he do?
Ah, that's awesome.
We got all the references going this week.
Oh, I was just gonna do the Ricky Bobby one. Like I'm an amateur tattoo artist.
If you ain't first, you're last.
You need to put that out, sir. It's all right. I'm a volunteer fireman. All right, we're done with the references for tonight.
Oh, no,
So
we're
we
not.
talk about Paul
And
Blart later on.
I think we're done with the quick hits too, but who knows? I went out of order, so there might be some hiding in there. I don't know.
I think we're fine. I think we should give away some awards. Don't you guys want to?
Why not?
So stoked about this.
Yeah.
So stoked about this.
I do have a question though. Who put asterisks after every single award?
You and me, or right here, me, of course, because I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Adam's making fun of me, you guys, because he's the paid writer of the group, and I kind of just use crayons in my words. So I have.
I was looking for additional information on our notes for each one, and I couldn't find it.
That I don't know. I'll take the blame for that one. It's kind of funny now.
See, I was wondering what like the Super Bowl champion New England Patriots asterisk.
Oh come on, he did it, you guys.
Or Super Bowl champion New Orleans Saints asterisk.
Yeah, no doubt.
That's more like it. I can live with that.
But first, let's go through these in order because I like the order these are in.
Yes.
And then we will not get lost. So
Yeah, jumping
Order.
around isn't working for me too much.
no.
So let's start with Offensive Player of the Year. Of course, these are players on offense that we think were the best.
I almost did another reference too. I'm sorry. Well, I'll jump in first. I'm going to get some heat for this. I feel like I'm prejudging everyone that's listening. I'm giving it to Stephon Diggs.
Dixie!
For a fifth-round draft pick to get your number called, not play the full year, and lead the team, and I believe receiving yards and I think receiving touchdowns, hats off to you, sir. Because other than that, and I'm not pooping on anyone on the offense as far as the wide receiver and tight end group that we have, but holy crap. Please, dear God, and I'm going to shut up after this. Please don't be a Cordero Patterson where you have a promising rookie year and then you crap the bed and roll around in it. Because I like this kid way too much, and I'll give a reference for all the fans. If you've never watched Diggs in an interview, this kid is 19 going on 35. He is very intellectual. He's very driven. You can see the motivation, but he's got just enough confidence to make you believe in him, and you can tell he just wants to be the absolute best. So with the numbers that he put up, just kind of being thrust in and being so young, absolutely my offensive player of the year.
Well, I'm going to steal thunder from Adam, and I'm going to go with Joe Berger, Offensive Player of the Year,
What?
because,
I'm supposed to be the guy that chose the line love.
Well, I had to steal your thunder, Adam, because I really sat down and thought about it. Who was the best player on offense? Honestly, Joe Berger stepping in at center was probably the most consistent and the best player on offense for the Vikings. Really solid, really, really good player for Minnesota.
I can't complain with that.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like the pick. I like that you stole it from Adam too, just slightly.
Yeah.
See, I actually sat down and thought about this one for a little while. I don't think any player on offense was consistent enough to be the Offensive Player of the Year. I mean, the easy answer here would be Adrian Peterson, but honestly, I felt he underperformed. I didn't like his yards per carry. Thought he struggled to get back to the line of scrimmage too often.
Fumbled.
So I couldn't go there. Teddy Bridgewater had so many ups and downs this season. No wide receiver really stood out, in my opinion, as far as being excellent through the whole season. So I ended up going with Mike Harris.
Nice. Some more line love today. That's good.
Good choice.
Mike Harris is one of those guys that doesn't get the kind of love that a lot of players should get. I know that right guard is technically the easiest spot on the offensive line because all you're really asked to do is run, block, and contain. That's essentially it. But when you can execute what you're asked to do at a high level on a regular basis, that makes you very, very, very valuable. And that's why I picked Mike Harris.
You know what's great about Mike Harris too? Piggyback. He wants to be here, and
Yeah.
I like that.
So always a
I mean,
positive.
I don't want to poop on AP, but when he was doing all that junk last year where he was like, oh, I don't know if this is the place for me, I'm like, oh, well, there's the door. Don't let it hit you on the way out. Like, he actually wants to come back. And our line struggled at times to be nice about it. So the fact that he wants to stay and work, I mean, he's got to believe in something, right? So it's pretty sweet.
Absolutely.
Well, we're also...
Oh, go ahead.
No, so you can go first, Adam.
Even if the Minnesota Vikings decide that they want to try to find a different starter at right guard, or if they want to move Fusco back there are so many options that present themselves with Mike Harris on the team that they should be able to sign him back at a reasonable price, use him several different ways, and I believe they could get results from him.
I was just really quickly going to say that I do believe that we have a lot of talent on this offensive line, and that I'm really hoping that the change in the coaching staff, you get guys back that are healthy that didn't play, like Lodeholt and Sullivan, and you bring in some competition, you will see a really big turnaround in this group. I believe that.
And
I think
then,
a lot of the struggles had to do with throwing Clemmings in there.
Yes, yeah, 100%. He didn't do terrible. I mean, that's crappy that he had to get thrust in there, but
and
definitely...
Fusco's horrible adjustment to left guard.
Oh, man. We were get carried away on that. That was a good choice, Adam.
Defensive player of the year.
Well,
jump in on that one.
I'm going to go with Harrison Smith, who I believe is the best defensive player for the Minnesota Vikings, which is saying a lot because, guys, Linval Joseph is really, really good. And we have some other really good defensive players. Harrison Smith is that good. How did he not make it to a Pro Bowl? How did he not get All-Pro honors? I don't understand. But he is just a spectacular player. He is always near the football, putting on big hits, coming up with critical plays for Minnesota. Man, he is, in my opinion, he is going to be the face of this defense moving forward for Minnesota, if he's not already.
The Vikings are going to need to put down a pretty nice contract in front of him this offseason.
And he's worth it. He's worth every...
Cut Mike Wallace. Oh, sorry, my cough's back. So, anyways, yeah, we better lock him up. I think once we can get everything going, when free agency starts, when all that shuffling goes around in March, and we can start making official moves, he better be... I want that to be the first thing that goes off of my phone. If we had a priority list, I believe that's got to be at the top.
Look, I'll let you go here in just a second. Rick Spielman does not draft a player like Harrison Smith to let him walk in free agency. That does not happen. He's a homegrown talent. They will do whatever it takes to keep him in Minnesota.
We saw that with
I think
Kyle
Mike
Rudolph,
Zimmer would
Everson
lose
Griffin,
it.
So many guys.
Yeah, he'd have a...
I think Mike Zimmer would lose his mind if he lost Harrison Smith.
He'd pass another gallstone.
I'm going to jump in, and I'm going to go ahead and say the steal of the draft for us. Thank God, it makes me so happy that we pissed off a lot of Green Bay fans too. Eric Kendricks. You couldn't ask for a better player and just play from a rookie than that kid. I mean, he is all over the freaking field. And games were different when he was sidelined this year, which, I get it. Anthony Barr was out there last year, a couple of games, but the games that he was out, man, we could feel it a little bit, and he's that much of a game changer. I absolutely love this kid, and I've said this on a couple shows before, but if I ever think about buying your jersey, I'm really invested in you, and I know I'm no one, so that's fine, but I absolutely love this kid to death, and I think he's a monster linebacker. So I'm really, really glad that he shined for us this year.
My pick goes to a guy who's been mentioned already, so we don't need to talk about him too much.
That's what you think.
But the game was different when Linval Joseph's in the lineup.
Hmm
100%.
It's so weird to watch games when he wasn't there compared to when he was. How easily teams were running it right up the gut. Linval Joseph makes the difference for this team in the middle, just the way that Harrison Smith does in the secondary, the way that Anthony Barr holds down the middle. It's so interesting to see so many great defensive players to be able to choose from to give out a Defensive Player of the Year award.
So what do we got next, guys? We have most valuable player, and this is going to be good. I love the fact you guys don't see this because we have the notes open, but Adam always leaves us, with a cliffhanger. He didn't write in his stuff, so we're just kind of waiting anxiously to see what Adam puts in. But actually, you know what? Kyle went first last time. Get it out of the way because I need to hear this from you. Who is your most valuable player this year, Adam?
For me, first?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Do
absolutely.
it. Do it, Adam.
Oh, I'm gonna surprise some people here. It's not Teddy. It's not. It's not Adrian.
Zach Line.
It's nobody on defense. It's
Are
a
you giving
wide
it to the
receiver.
punter? Oh, I was about to say, give it Jeff Locke. Yes.
It's Adam Thielen.
Hey-o.
Very nice.
He makes so many plays on special teams. They bring him in. Punt formations. He's running the ball. Plays that Cordero Patterson, a first-round draft pick, should be in on jet sweeps. Plays like that. It's not him. It's Adam Thielen.
Hooked on a Thielen.
That's a good choice. I like that.
He does so many different things for this team that makes him so valuable. He catches touchdowns. He got his first touchdown this year.
He literally did it all.
Yeah, he does. He does everything. He's a Swiss Army knife.
You're making me think about the fake punt now. That was fantastic. It was like a 40 or 50-yard run that he got? He's amazing.
And he did that more than once this year.
Good choice.
Amazing.
Well, I'm probably going to get some heat for my choice for MVP, who I feel like a lot of Vikings fans would probably say Adrian Peterson. Because Adrian's the easy choice for MVP. But I agree with Adam. Even though he put up numbers, I think he had a bit of an off year for Minnesota. So I'm not going with Adrian Peterson. I am going with Blair Walsh.
Whoa!
That is correct. Blair Walsh, ladies and gentlemen. 87.2% overall for field goal percentage accuracy. Guys, he's a good kicker. Out of 39 attempts, he made 34 of them. On point afters, he was 33 for 37. Guys, if it wasn't for Blair Walsh, a lot of the games that Minnesota won, they would have lost. Because we've had struggles in the red zone, in the end zone, putting up points, getting those 7 points on the board. We relied on Blair Walsh all season long to come up with field goals for this team so that we could put the defense back out there on the field and we could keep it to a low-scoring game. If it was not for Blair Walsh, we probably wouldn't have won the division. And I know that it sucks that he came up short in the game that it mattered the most, but
that doesn't define the year.
It does not define the year at all. And look at that game. We wouldn't have had, 9 points on the board if it wouldn't have been for Blair to begin with. So
we would have won 7 games again this year, just like we did last year.
Yes.
If Blair
was
didn't come
outdoors in the elements and everything like that.
Yes. Blair Walsh is the MVP for Minnesota for 2015.
I love it, and I can't wait to have people comment on it because if you think logically, You have a very, very valid and solid argument for that. I love your pick. It's awesome. Um, we talked about Adrian Peterson, and he said that was the obvious choice. Somebody had to pick him, but it wasn't me either. So I wanted to throw you guys for a loop. In my opinion, I kept it really basic. The numbers don't jump out necessarily, but you want to talk about clutch. This kid's getting more and more clutch as he goes on, and we have almost 2 full seasons on him. Most valuable player on the team is at the most valuable position, Teddy Bridgewater. He gave it to me. I'm giving him this award for 3 reasons. Number one, he played every game this year. Look how many snaps that Sean Hill got. I think it was less than a handful. And when you watch Sean Hill come in that game against the Rams, your heart sinks to the ground, and you're like, "Oh, F word, no, please no."
The team couldn't move the ball at all.
Not even a little bit. So I should tell you how important he is. Um, I love his decision making. I know he still has a couple of throws that he wishes he could get back. AK, don't ever throw with your left hand again, or I'll shoot you. But his touchdowns went up. I believe his interceptions stayed the same or went down. I know they went down. His completion percentage went up. The kid is a smart quarterback. I love it. But you know what I love most of all? I love his attitude, and I love that he's so young and he works so hard. And let's be real. If you want to go back to 2012, you could say, "Oh, Christian Ponder led a team to the playoffs." No, they rode AP. AP was given the ball a lot this year, but Teddy was asked to do more, and we won 11 games because he had a major factor to do with it. I don't care what anybody says. A lot of
this
people
wasn't
still
the
have hate.
2,000-yard rushing season from Adrian Peterson that
Not
Christian
even
Ponder
close.
got.
So there were a
nothing
couple
like
of
that.
games where our lead rusher was the first night. He had 30 yards the first game. There was a day where he got 17 rushing yards, and Teddy has to step in and do things. So, hey, I'll keep it simple and sweet, man. He plays the most popular and the most valuable position, and he did I think, in my opinion, he did an excellent job this year.
He's just going to keep growing and developing.
Let's move on to most surprising player. This is a fun award because I'm curious to see where you guys will take this one.
If you guys have been listening to the show, you know who I'm picking, so I might as well go first.
Go for it, Adam.
Nobody other than Danielle Hunter should get this award.
Good choice.
The fact that this guy, who everyone said is too raw, didn't get enough sacks in college. He's athletic, but he doesn't have a football mind. He put in so much time with the team, had made such a big contribution to become a regular part of the defensive lineup, and now he's even got the Green Bay Packers head coach mentioning him by name before games as someone that he is fearing to face. Danielle Hunter should get this award.
It's a solid choice. I am going to pick someone different. For his age, I can't believe that Terrence Newman came in and did the work that he did this year. He looked like a veteran, but he didn't look like that guy that you're like, how is he still on the team? He's so old, he needs to hang it up. I'm actually hoping him and Chad Greenway both come back next year because the leadership that he gave, especially to a young guy like Trey Waynes, but he made some clutch plays. And I think he had the most interceptions this year on the team. So Terrence Newman, at his age, holy crap, man. I was very surprised that he gave out the results that he put out this year. So I'm stoked to give that one to him.
A lot of folks didn't even expect him to make the team.
It's hilarious.
Well, I went with your offensive player of the year, Mr. Smith, in Stephon Diggs, because here's a guy that he wasn't even active for a couple games at the beginning of the season, and then
I still want to know why that was.
He comes on and he suddenly explodes for Minnesota, and you're getting all kinds of production out of him. Now, I know that a lot of us were talking in training camp about how Diggsy is a guy that you should be looking for, but I don't think that I even know for me personally, you didn't think he was going to have that large of an impact as immediately as he did. Because to be fair, you see this in training camp all the time. Guys flash in camp, and then you don't see anything from them when the season starts. Guys like Jamar Johnson, Guys like Kerry Taylor looked extremely good up in Mankato. And then season rolls around, they either don't make the roster or you don't see anything from them. And so that's why I was a little bit surprised that Stephon Diggs was able to step on and make the impact that he did so early on for Minnesota.
It's true. Anytime you
pretty
get a
good.
late round draft pick and get good contributions out of them,
Mm-hmm.
good stuff. On to one
Here's
of my
my
favorites.
yes,
Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say the same thing. It's my favorite award of the day.
The Why Are They Here award.
Oh,
Why are these players with the team? What are their function? Let's discuss it. Have at her. Who wants to start?
I'll start it. I'll get it out of the way. I know technically on paper why they're here, but why do they have a roster spot? First off, and I'm splitting this one. I don't care who gets mad, and I know Adam's not a fan of that, but I don't care if any of the fans get mad. Marcus Sherrills and Cordero Patterson, get the F off of my team. And I don't care that Cordero ran 2 back this year. I don't. The one game where he ran 1 back, we were not relevant anyways.
He fumbled a big one.
There you go. Fumbling, you contribute nothing at all to the offense, and you are a first-round pick. Shame on you, Rick Spielman, for taking him that high, because we could have gotten him in the 3rd round easily. But
Trading up for him too.
Oh, and Marcus Sherrills, dude, I don't want to hate on you at all. He always gives me a reason every year. He did nothing, and when the defense was depleted for that one game, and we somehow magically fought our butts off, he didn't even get called in. We're literally taking anyone off the bench but you. Oh, God, I'm sorry, but when the baby's ugly, you got to call it. I think it's time for them to go, and I really wish I didn't have to say that, but I feel way better now that I got to say that.
2 roster spots for specialist return men.
How? Oh,
I don't understand it.
I don't get it at all.
Mr. West?
Well, I took this one at the most face value possible. Why are they here? Well, I understand why Cordero Patterson and Marcus Sherrills are on the Minnesota Vikings. And maybe I don't necessarily agree with it or like it, but I understand the functions that they are supposed to serve within the roster. Even someone like Zach Line, you got production. We rag on him all the time, at least I do. You get production out of Zach Line, even if maybe he wasn't quite the best of players. I understand his function for the team. Nick Easton, I don't understand your function for the team. Now, we traded away Gerald Hodges. Who gives a crap about Gerald Hodges? He didn't want to be here. He was upset that he got beat out by the rookie, so fine. Get rid of him. You bring in a player that I had thought maybe was going to be competition, or, something, and he's just not even ever active, and you don't hear anything about him ever. So I don't understand why and our line kind of sucked, so...
He brought the towel.
Chapa, why? What did you do? What did you do? Why were you here?
He's the 4th center on the team.
Yes, I don't get it. Why are you here? Why?
That says a lot, too, for him being number 4, and our number 1 center is down, and he still didn't play.
Yeah.
I don't. And did we do this, Adam? You did. You did a lot of research on him. He's highly graded. Am I correct?
He did. He was the highest graded center of the preseason.
Yeah, so hopefully he can come back and have an off season to beat hell and work his butt off, and you could pick for Minnesota eventually, but
2000 got some back problems, so you never know.
Yeah, but for 2015, I don't get it. I don't get it.
It's the same way I don't understand what Robert Blanton's doing here.
Giving up touchdowns in the Seahawks playoff game.
There's nobody else. That's why.
You guys want to be mad at Blair
Walsh? The Vikings went through every other safety.
Yeah.
Brought in safeties off the street. Robert Blanton used to be a starter. Dropped off the face of the earth. What happened?
Sean Prater reference, everyone.
He'll be with Leslie Frazier in Baltimore here soon.
What happened to him?
I still, you know what? It's sad that you say that because I remember being in the Metrodome the year last time we went to the playoffs before this year, and him running down the sideline as a rookie, got an interception and had a pick six. It was
Yeah.
amazing.
What
Uh,
happened?
uh,
Why is he here?
Giving up touchdowns against the Seahawks. That's all I got. Easy touchdown.
He won't be here in
Brutal.
2016. That's my prediction.
God, we are so negative right now.
Well, this is our negative. This is our negative award. This is the one that we actually do a little dish in, and we can't be positive all the time. We got to understand that even though we love the Vikings and we absolutely love the team, there are some things that need to change.
Oh, totally.
Oh my gosh, I'm having an epiphany right now. We have a social media question set in place this week. We could definitely use this award as a social media question. I would love to hear some people's reactions to that. Everybody loves to play general manager, so
Absolutely.
I would love to hear that from you guys. We should do that one week.
Best game of the year. What game entertained you guys the most?
What about
For
you,
me-
Adam?
Sunday, October 25th, 2015, Minnesota Vikings traveled to Detroit, and they ended up down early. I mean, Detroit struck twice with two big touchdowns, and guess what? After that, they didn't find the end zone again. The
Amazing.
Minnesota Vikings made some big adjustments, came back, won the game. Absolutely awesome game. Blair Walsh kicking through field goals, just nailing them like crazy. 5 field goals in the game. And don't forget a 36-yard touchdown from Teddy Bridgewater to Stephon Diggs that looked like it came out of a Madden game.
Mm-hmm.
At SportsCenter Top 10, that was a fantastic touchdown.
And there was also the nice little 1-yard touch pass from Bridgewater to Kyle Rudolph.
That was a good game, sir. I didn't think you were going to pick that one.
To me, I absolutely love that game because I've been on way too many of those Minnesota Vikings games where the Vikings go down early, and then from there it's just a slippery slope, and you're left there looking at the TV screen the whole game, just going, "Oh yeah, this is it." They're all ready.
I thought, Adam, you were going to go preseason like what you did last year.
I didn't go preseason this year.
I knew he was going to say that.
Maybe next year. We don't know.
Never leave anything out. I'm going week 15 at home versus Chicago. When Teddy Bridgewater gets 5 total touchdowns and channels his inner Cam Newton, holy crap. I was so ecstatic about – I've been waiting for Teddy to have the game. That's the game of his career. I believe it was 2 to Stephon Diggs, 1 to Kyle Rudolph – or no, not Kyle Rudolph, I'm sorry, Zach Line. And Jerick McKinnon also got a receiving touchdown. And then Teddy leaps into the end zone like what looked to be like 10, 11 feet for a rushing touchdown. I know that the defense played a good part in that game too. I know they picked Cutler off at least once, which, hey, you know what? That's every Chicago game. But, yeah, that's right. I shat on Jay Cutler just now. I'll do it again. I love this game. I love it when the quarterback is hot. You know, I hate Aaron Rodgers' guts because he's so damn good. But when you have somebody at the most important position, like I said earlier, that plays that high, if we could get a game like that every week when it comes to Teddy, I mean, we'd be unstoppable. But I was really stoked for him, and that just showed the flashes against a divisional opponent that we needed to seal the deal with. So that was mine. I love that game. That's my favorite of the year.
Awesome.
I had a hard time with this one because I have a bad memory, and so everything just kind of blurs together for me at some point. So I really had to go back and look through game by game to see what happened. I ended up choosing week 17 against Chicago because I don't know what that was for.
Not week 17 against Chicago. What week was that?
Did I say week 17? I have about a.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that in the notes. I didn't want to call you out. Do you mean when we went to Chicago at Soldier Field?
The one where we won 38-17.
Oh, that's the one I just picked. When we at home, it's week 15 against Chicago at home.
Okay, there you go. Well, I guess we picked the same game. Well, then, hey, I don't even need to reiterate it. That's my game too.
You said week 17 in the notes, and I thought you meant against Green Bay because clinching the division is always pretty awesome.
Yeah. No, I seriously, I had picked the Chicago game, but I guess I wrote the wrong week down in the notes, folks.
I feel bad. I rant and raved about it so much. I wanted to give you some time. That was a pretty sweet game, though.
And strangely enough, for best play of the year, we all picked the same play.
Yes, all three of us unanimous. Oh, that's amazing.
And because of who it is, Mr. West,
Please
Oh,
take
it's
it
all
away.
you.
I mean, guys, Chad Greenway is one of my favorite players on this Minnesota Vikings roster. Former Iowa Hawkeye, man, that's my college team. He's such a great, like, community leader and just person in general, locker room guy for the Vikings. And for him to get that 91-yard pick six
It's so slow.
in slow motion, he had like the entire defense like in front of him, just protecting him down the field. You can tell it's been a long time since Chad's ran wind sprints, for one thing. A couple knee surgeries later as well too, but just so deserving, man. I think his grandfather was in the audience for the first time for that one or something. I don't quite remember, but just an amazing moment for a guy that really, really, truly deserved it. So awesome. So awesome.
You know what's crazy? I love this. I have to give you that game too because my brother is a Chargers fan and he just loves Philip Rivers for some weird reason. So for it to be against San Diego made it even better just now. I forgot which game that was. But I'm pretty stoked that all three of us thought that this was great. Chad Greenway with a convoy of Vikings running the slowest 91 yards you'll ever see. Pick six on Philip Rivers. What an amazing play.
So much fun.
And a guy that really deserves it too. I mean, I mean, you can't hammer that point home enough. I don't think.
I agree.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And those are our awards. We got social media question for this week. We asked you guys, do you feel the Minnesota Vikings had a successful 2015 season? And a little bit of a spoiler going forward, it was nearly a unanimous yes.
That's good. Smart fans.
Oh yeah. Dave Hickey says they definitely had a great season to go 11-5, and the NFL is awesome. In just 1 year, they went from a losing record to winning all their division games but one, at 11-5 record. Brandon Alles picked the Vikings to go 11-6 and get a wild card spot, and they exceeded his expectations. Craig Morley thinks that the Vikings are ahead of schedule on their rebuild. Cameron Pohl says that even though the game against the Seahawks was a heartbreak, nobody can take away the amazing seasons the Vikings had with a second-year head coach, second-year quarterback. Tommy Gunn says, was this season a success? Does a Catholic bear say grace before mauling hikers? Of course.
You guys got to have him on the show when I can't be on.
Oh.
Here coming up shortly. He is hilarious.
Lee Montgomery says, yes, very. Did not think we'd win the division, let alone go to the playoffs. Kevin Newman, absolutely. No one, and I mean no one, had this team going 11-5, winning the division. That's why I had to read that one. Had to. Alex Zeller says definitely. Thomas Buse says great season despite the loss. Dorian Foley says yes, indeed, we had a good season, and next season will be even better.
Dorian, what's up, dude?
Kevin and Terry Harlow says yes, but the Minnesota Vikings should have replaced the kicker five or more games ago.
Stop it.
That's an opinion.
Matt Massey says it was an awesome season, and that's why last week's loss was so painful. Darren Roach says, and I'll paraphrase, heck yeah. This season was a message. Next season and beyond will be a statement. And there was one in here that I wanted to read, but I don't know what happened to it. Where did it go?
I will say really quick that my answer to this is a resounding yes, because you got to remember that we're in year 2 of Mike Zimmer's rebuilding process.
With a second-year quarterback, I just want to throw that out there as well.
In a converted outdoor college stadium. I mean, come on. We had, like, everything against us this year. I think this team did really good.
Gary Notch says, yes, I do, and I've been saying for 2 years now that not only, and he spelled not like his last name, pretty good stuff, Will we be in the Super Bowl in 2018 in our own stadium, but we will win the thing?
I hope so.
Whew, that'd be a good one. Next week, we have a question for you guys, and it says here, should Chad Greenway return to the Minnesota Vikings for the 2016 season? A lot of folks say he's missing some steps now. He's getting a little older. He's becoming a free agent. Well, he is a free agent now that the season is over. Should the Minnesota Vikings bring him back for a year? Greenway wants to come back. Mike Zimmer sounds like he wants him back. But what do you think?
Spoiler alert, I think there's always a role for someone like Chad Greenway on your team.
Next year he gets the Why is he here award.
Yeah, what the hell's Chad Greenway doing here? F this guy. He's old.
Nobody
kidding.
wants to win the Why is he here award.
I think he will. I hope he does. I'll give you my spoil on that. I hope he does. I want to see him play in the new stadium. And like he said, nobody wants to go out like we went in the playoffs this year. So we'll keep that train rolling and give him a playoff win on the way out.
And well, let's end with Mr. Smith's bold statement, which he kind of hinted at a little earlier.
All right, I gave Rick Spielman a lot of hate earlier, but I'm going to give him my boast of confidence for the day, and I'm going to give him full permission because I'm a Mr. Nobody and you don't need anything from me. As long as you don't draft a Cordero Patterson again, if you want to double dip in the first round, please do it. 2 out of 3 ain't bad from a couple years ago. Sharif Floyd, Xavier Rhodes, I think we can all agree. We are very stoked to have them on the team. I do want to see a wide receiver taken. I do want to see one of the top-rated wide receivers taken. About time we get a Julio Jones or an A.J. Green, like I said last week on last week's show. I would also love a really, really good lineman. And I know those are going to be hard to find come number 23 if you want the top-rated guys. But I'm just going to throw it out there. I love when Rick Spielman double dips. He did it with Kyle Rudolph and Harrison Smith, and that was fantastic. Well, actually, I think Kyle was the second round. But he's not afraid to jump up. And if things go like I might have wanted to or predicted, get rid of AP, get a second-round pick, like I said last week, we would have that to where you don't sacrifice a second-rounder or a third-rounder, and you can still get as many players as you want. Because Rick said it, he wants 10 draft picks every year. I mean, that's all nice and dandy, but it's not going to happen every single year. So make some bold off-season moves, double dip in the first round, get that awesome talent. And like I said, I think I can't remember who it was. ESPN writer wrote it. We're 2 or 3 players away from being that team, quotation marks. So
Michael Irvin said that on NFL Network.
Boom.
I don't know
Never
if that
mind.
who you referenced it to or not, but Michael Irvin said that. Was that we were 1 or 2 players away from really competing and really not just winning the division, but being the dominant team in the division.
The defense is taking care of business. Lots of young guys growing. If this offense can get clicking, it's going to be a dangerous, dangerous team.
I mean, if there's ever been a time for fans out there to trade in their Seattle Seahawks bandwagon jerseys and pick up a Minnesota Vikings bandwagon jersey, like the time is now, folks.
You can be a backwards Macklemore.
You sure can.
And that's all I have for this week. You guys got anything else you want to end the show with?
I would love to step in, if you guys don't mind. I am deploying like I've been talking about for a couple weeks. I'm actually leaving out this week. So you guys will hear me again. I'm not going to take a permanent hiatus. More often than not, we'll probably be just Adam and Kyle, maybe some guests if they allow. But, yeah, I just want to give a shout-out to my beautiful little dog sitting here with me, Opie. We're going to go over and do some awesome things on the other side of the world. And, hey, I love you two bros. I love this show. I'm really sad that the time difference is going to change and the connection might be iffy at sometimes, but we're going to get it figured out, and we're going to talk a lot of off-season stuff. Let's get ready for the draft.
We love having you here with us, man.
You the real MVP, man.
There it is.
You are the
thank
world
you.
of crying Jordan memes.
Oh, my God. Oh. Can we ask that? That should be a social media question, too. You guys, if you're still listening to the podcast at this point on this show.
Yeah, can you explain that to us?
Why is Michael Jordan crying when he's older and fatter than he ever has been? Why is that a thing? Why does it matter that it's him crying everywhere?
God, here's a rant that has nothing to do with anything. That was a photo from his retirement that was like, what, 15 years ago? Guys, I understand if you're going to make a meme out of something current. Why the hell are you digging up Michael Jordan when he retired? I don't know. When did he retire? 2000?
I don't know.
I mean, Jesus.
Something like that. But this is that perfect. This is when we're all
I'm old.
close to 30. We're all close to 30, and we're going on 70. Back in my day, I don't understand these young kids. I don't understand it. Somebody please tell me what this means.
Yeah, I don't get it.
On that note, I'd like to thank everyone for listening. Head on over to the Facebook page. We'll have our social media question of the week posted up over there. Always conversation going on Twitter. You can hit us up on our personal Twitters as well. We're pretty personable guys. You can check out my work on the Viking Age, always talking football no matter what. Got stuff going on Undead Walking if you're into zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And you can check out Kyle West's artwork. I plug it every time I can.
KyleWestPhotography.com. I sold a blanket of all random things.
There you go.
Buy all kinds of stuff. All kinds.
Yeah, and it featured one of the
Deadpool.
characters.
Deadpool.
Well, you just ruined my build-up for it, but all right.
I do what I can.
You sure do. On that note, I'd like to thank everyone again for listening, and remember to stay classy, Minnesota.